What's up, guys? No Misses here. Today we'll be talking about my top 10 point guards list. So yeah, let's get into it. Make sure to subscribe, let's comment, and turn on post notifications. On that, thank you guys for the support every video. And I just wanna say that this is probably the most depth in the position in the NBA right now. When I was looking through making my list, there's probably like another like 2-3 guys I could put on here that could contend with this top list, and this list is very controversial. I think we could agree on that. All these players deserve to be in the top 10, but yeah, so here's my top 10 list. I have some honorable mentions. I want to go real quick. I have Kemba Walker, Fox, and John Morant. The reasons they didn't make it into the top 10 list, Fox hasn't been able to produce that winning basketball yet. Well, John Morant, I feel like he's just too young and not good enough to be in this top 10 list right now, and he's also been injured for most of the season, so we kind of don't know where he's at. And then there's Kemba Walker, where Kemba's just not been able to. He hasn't been able to play. Plus, the first year fit with him was kind of awkward. I know he averaged 20 points per game last year, but it just seems awkward. I'd rather have a defensive player on the Celtics team, maybe that can handle the ball and maybe play a little bit off ball while Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown do their stuff. And yeah, that's my those are my honorable mentions. Now let's get into the top 10. So I have Drew Holiday as my top 10 point guard right now. I think Holiday is not better offensively than these point guards, but I think superb. I think better than defensively by a lot with these point guards. You can make an argument maybe John Morant just because if you're going by long term future, because of course John Morant is gonna probably be a top 5 point guard in probably like 2 years. But I'm going for right now, and Holiday plays. We know he plays winning basketball, and we know he's able to defend the best player on the court at all times. One through three, and that's the big point. There's a reason why the Bucks gave up like 3 first round picks for this man, and even though he's only had like one All-Star appearance, which shows that the All-Star game doesn't matter in my opinion, or All-Star appearances shouldn't matter in my opinion. But Holiday just seems solid. In the long term, I would have John Morant probably like as a top 5 point guard right now. But as a current top 10 list, I would have Holiday over John Morant, and then the same reasons I have Holiday over Fox. The two honorable mentions are just better. Are just potential players. I can see them being better than Holiday in the long run offensively and maybe defensively. But Holiday is just a better player than them currently right now on the defensive side. And he doesn't require the ball all the time. So you could have him play off ball, you could have him handle the ball, you could have him play make, and this guy's just a versatile player, one of the best versatile players in the NBA. And those are the reasons I have him over there. And then we have Trae Young for the Atlanta Hawks. He is just way better than all the 3 honorable mentions and Holiday, just because Young has, I would say, I think he has the best improved chance to better improve this year. I mean, Young is always Young's a stud offensively. Defensively, probably one of the worst guards in the league just by his body type, but the Atlanta Hawks surrounded him with big wings and alright defensive players, and they try to hide him. But I think Young is just a superbly better offensive player than Holiday, and I think that outranks the defensive upside on Holiday. And I feel like Young could put up probably like 30 points every night if he really wants the chance to. And I don't think Fox or John Morant or definitely not Holiday have those potentials yet. And yeah, so that's why I have Young at 9. So then I have Kyle Lowry at 8. I feel like he could probably put up 25 points per game. Right now he's like 23. I think he's like 20 right now, actually. And this guy is just, like I said, a Drew Holiday grit grind type of player. He doesn't demand the ball always. If he's not having a good shooting night, he'll get scrappy, try to get fouls. If they're not rebounding good, he'll try to do that. He'll try to rebound good. He's big bodied, and he's very underrated rebounder. And I think just Lowry is better. I think Young's better offensively, but defensively, I think Lowry is way better than Holiday. Than Young. I would say Holiday is probably better than Lowry defensively, but offensively, Lowry's better than Holiday. And just he plays winning basketball, and he's more of a offensive piece in that team. And he's that leader of the team. He coaches up the team, and he improves their ceilings and of his teammates. So I'd have Lowry at 8. Then have Simmons at 7, and it seems very too low. But the thing with Simmons is the one thing you need in this modern NBA. He can't shoot. Very big deficit. Very that's a big weakness, I would say. And then you have and then Simmons also is not really aggressive enough. I know during like the game plan, his scheme on his team, it doesn't really allow him to be aggressive. Where it's kind of awkward, where you got Joel Embiid sitting in the dunker spot or in the paint, and then the spacing is not that good to start off with. So I don't think he's really given the opportunity to be aggressive, where he could go put up 25, 30 points per game. Well, I don't think he could put that up, but I think where we could see him have games like that more commonly. But there's also this thing where he's just not the. I think he's better than Lowry, defensively. I think he's way better. I think he's probably one of the best defender, I would say, on here. Just because he's 6'10" and he has decent lateral quickness, and he could probably switch 1 through 5 on this team, and there's not really a point guard that could do that in the NBA, just in general, in the last decade, just in general. So I would have Simmons there. Also, just Simmons being a mismatch, just probably 1 through 2, or at any point guard. I don't even think Holiday would be able to guard him consistently, but he also has a problem of not being aggressive, and I think him mentally not being aggressive holds him back from being a top 5 point guard. And playmaking, he's good. There's a saying where he hasn't really improved over the years, but I think that's just wrong. And I think that's what a casual fan would say, but he has improved defensively. Offensively, I mean, it's not like the one thing he was really missing is that shooting. He is starting to attempt 3-point shots. They're not going down, but I think he's like taking like a half of 0.5 threes a game. So yeah, that's something where didn't take when he didn't take any for like a whole year. So yeah, and then I have Westbrook at 6. Westbrook has fallen for me throughout the years. He's just not the same player he has been. I can even say if you really want to put Simmons over Westbrook, I wouldn't have a bad thing over that. I think Westbrook puts up amazing stats, puts up triple doubles. Yes, athletic freak, still is an athletic freak, but him just being able to produce winning basketball without making bonehead plays just hasn't been there. He's been with other stars, and they haven't been able. They produced playoff bursts, but they haven't been able to pass by the first round by himself. And I think Westbrook with the Wizards, they haven't been playing good. Actually, they haven't been playing at all. But it hasn't looked too good for Westbrook and the Wizards right now. And I could see him going down on the list. If you really want to put Simmons above him, I wouldn't argue with it. Right now it's 6 and 7. That's where I have them ranked. They would probably be probably in the same place. At number 5, I have Chris Paul. I think Chris Paul, even though he hasn't won a championship, dude plays winning basketball, and I think you could probably say the only person that plays winning basketball like he does is probably Lowry, and that's probably it. Chris Paul is a floor general, better playmaker than better I think he's just a better defender offensively. He could shoot, good shooter. He's probably the typical point guard, old man point guard, textbook point guard, where he's not gonna make all these all NBA teams, but he's gonna be the floor general and he's gonna make sure the offense is at 100%, and he will get the best out of their players. He's the Greg Popovich of point guards. That's what I'm just saying, and I think the only things that the reason I have Westbrook below Chris Paul is just that he doesn't that Chris Paul plays winning brand basketball, and every team he seems to go to plays winning brand basketball recently. He went to the Rockets. That didn't work out there. He went to the OKC. He kind of knew what was happening before he even got traded to the OKC. So he was like, okay, time to play winning brand basketball. And they almost beat the Rockets in the first round in the 7-game series. So, yeah, and I don't even think the coach was even that big of a part of a deal. I think it was just Chris Paul just being the coach. And and then now he's with the Suns, was a team that didn't go and make it in the playoffs, but had good potential when they went 8-0 in the bubble. So I could see them making the playoffs this year, and I could see them making a run. And Chris Paul does play winning brand basketball. And yeah, that's all I have to say about Chris Paul at number 5. Then I have Kyrie. Kyrie is offensively better, flashier. Defensively, worse than Chris Paul, but his creating levels, best handles of all time, I'd say. And his creating levels are better. Not the best leader as Chris Paul, but at some point where your offensive levels get as good as everything else, and we're getting into that thing where any of these players, we're getting to that level of where any of these players could go get a shot on, and even though some players it would be a really bad shot, it's a good shot to them, and they will make it consistently. And Irving is one of those players. I think at some times he does very weird things, and he's very dramatic, and the media kind of overreacts that. But I feel like Irving can make any shot on the court if he really wants to, and I could say any of these top 4 players can. At number 3, I have Dame. I have Dame over Kyrie because I think Dame is more of a leader, plays winning brand basketball, and I think he potentially could be if the team's built around him, right? And he has a really a good second star, then I could see Dame winning championship. And we're seeing these players that could be first options on championship dynasty teams. And Dame is one of those players. Like I said, we're getting to a stage where any of these players can make a shot anywhere on the court, and Dame is the definition of making a shot anywhere on the court. And he's probably the second best shooter in the NBA right now. Even Dame's a good leader. The Portland Trailblazers, except for probably like the Houston Rockets, the Portland Trailblazers have been the most other consistent team in the NBA for the last decade. Always make the playoffs, always are competitive, even if they're the 8 seed, even if they're the 8 seed or 4 seed, they will make the playoffs. And even though I wouldn't say he's probably the clutchest player ever, because it seems like in the highlights, but he will make some big time shots on you if you give him the opportunity. And there's some players that can't do that, and that's what makes him in the top 3. And then Luka. Luka has potential to be the best player in the NBA, not just the top 10 point guards list. Luka right now, if we're looking at him, he's currently second ranked point guard. Even if you consider him a shooting guard, he's a point guard. I don't care what you say about it. Luka is just he's played winning basketball. He's made the playoffs. And he almost beat the championship destined Clippers. If they didn't get injured, then I think they would have beaten them. And it just seems like Luka is the next golden boy, I would say. I think he's the next Prince or whatever once LeBron goes. And I don't see him winning MVP this year, It just seems to be looking. Well, it's an open year. Nobody knows who's gonna win MVP, but it seems like Luka is kind of just destined to be great and has a bright future. And I have him over Dame just because just because he's a better defender than Dame. Luka, like I said, can make any shot at any time, and I think he's just craftier. And I don't think he's a better leader, but right now, if I'm going off potential, this is probably the only player I would be going off potential. Just offensively, he's a juggernaut. He always try. He's a playmaker, and I can't really say that about Dame. Dame is a scorer. Dame does play make, but not to the degree where Luka play makes, and he makes these passes that shouldn't. That LeBron s passes that question where did that ball go, and like how did he even see that, man? So yeah, and then at number one, obviously I have Curry. Curry is a better defender than Dame. Curry's a better shooter than Luka. I think it's close. It's kind of absurd that people are thinking Dame was better than Curry, just because Curry didn't play a lot last year, and people were saying Curry couldn't carry his team. We're seeing them. They're probably gonna be a fifth, sixth seed team, and this team I could see maybe going to the second round. Nothing really past that. But I could see this team just going around Curry, and Curry maybe just carrying this team and proving that he's a top ranked point guard right now, and he is just able to make any shot, literally legit make any shot on any time with anybody in his face, and his ball handling skills are on another level. Not as good as Kyrie, but and he's an alright leader. So yeah, that's my top 10 point guards list. If you guys want to hear it, it's Holiday at 10, Young at 9, Lowry at 8, Simmons at 7, Westbrook at 6, Chris Paul at 5, Irving at 4, Dame at 3, Luka at 2, and Curry at 1. If you guys have any objections, you guys can always comment, think what you do, make your own list, and make sure you guys subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out.